I think as a nation, we're very passionate, right? We're Mediterranean, we have all the qualities of Europe and Middle East. So we're right in the middle of Europe and Asia. So we want to make quick money. We like risk taking. We have lots of passion, and without knowing, people invest a lot and do lots of high volume margin on the tradings, right? So this is actually one of the points we come across with our Steve Group. This is what we're saying. We don't encourage this. You shouldn't do it. If you're going to invest in something, then you invest long term. But if you want to do scalp trading, obviously there's a huge potential in the market for us as well, because people scalp trade, day trade, and we if you're doing this, at least know what you're doing, right? This is our attitude. At least know how to trade, or what to do, or where to put your stop loss, or try to read your graphics and see where you can buy, where between the resistance point and the support points. We're trying to teach this to people without encouraging them to day trade or scalp, but they lose a lot of money, Rick. It's very heartbreaking, because they come into this crypto world thinking they're going to be millionaires.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of Bitfinex Talks. I'm your host, Ricardo Martinez. Today, I am joined by Danny from SteveDaBitcoin. And he is a Bitcoiner that's pretty well known in the Turkish Bitcoin community. And I'm super happy to have him on the show, because he has just finished participating in the Bitfinex Financial Freedom Tour, which was a tour that went city to city all across Turkey, providing events that promoted Bitcoin education. Danny, how are you today? Thanks for coming on the show.
I'm good, Rick. How are you?
Doing fantastic, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Pleasure.
I guess my first question is, for people outside of Turkey who may not be familiar with you, what is SteveDaBitcoin?
Well, it started as a Twitter account where I was sharing basic knowledge about Bitcoin and blockchain, and doing some analysis on the technical side. Then the account started growing, and I'm not like one of them 20-year-old guys who's just gone on the Twitter and became like a KOL. I was a businessman anyway, so I see a business opportunity in the educational side of it. So I created the Steve Academy, which we had, and it was free of charge. So we had about 57,000 students who was taking these lessons online. Wow. And then from there onwards, it grew, and we did partnerships with Bitfinex and Tether in Turkey, and tried to spread the word all around Turkey. This is how it started basically, and it's one of the biggest individual accounts. We have 11 sub brands as well in Turkey as the Steve Group. We have the TV channel. We have we've got a trade team, and like in every area we are active right now in the blockchain and Bitcoin industry, crypto industry.
That's pretty impressive. I want to change the subject a little bit, because you just finished participating in the Bitfinex Financial Freedom Tour.
Yeah.
Can you tell people about that experience? Like, what was the Bitfinex Financial Freedom Tour? How many cities did you guys visit? What did you do? Can you give us a little bit? Cities? I think 21, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So, well, this was an idea. We had this idea when we started the academy. We said, we're based in Istanbul, which is the biggest city in Turkey and Europe. And we said, we need to do something to spread the word, because there's so many. Turkey's a huge country. I don't know if you've been here, Ricardo, but I mean,
no, I haven't had the chance, but I would love to go.
You should definitely visit. And I spoke to a few people. Then, we came up and sat down at the meeting with Bitfinex and said, we want to do this. And you know what Bitfinex is like. They're very open to this sort of, big movements that is like educational. The whole team was very enthusiastic about it, and they supported us with this. And so we said, let's do this, the Bitfinex Financial Freedom Tour. They are already, Bitfinex is already doing lots of educational stuff all around the globe. But we said, let's put a little bit of a spice in it as well. Like, let's go with a caravan. Let's do meetups in big universities, meetups in little local. Like, we had meetups with 15 people, and we had meetups with 300 people. So we went to all the little cities and towns and everything, spreading the word. And some KOLs along the way, all around the globe, they came with us. Joe came with us at one of our tours. Rick and Laura came. There was what's his name? Javier Bastardo. He came with us as well. Like everyone who came here experienced this with us. They had a great time. We met great people. Crypto is very big in Turkey. So we're trying to like shift that a little bit towards Bitcoin and blockchain and the technology of the stuff. It's not only about, I'm buying this coin, this, whatever coin, and then I'm going to be rich in a week. Turkish people, because of the economy in Turkey, obviously, the inflation rates and everything, everyone is like, we want to get rich tomorrow, So instead of like focusing on what Bitcoin actually is and what the technology is and what's the philosophy behind this, they want to go into these coins that they don't even know about. They just like the name, or there's a hype, there's stupid amounts of marketing on this, there's shilling and everything. So we're trying to actually get people, create an awareness of this is not what it's all about. This is, there's Bitcoin and there's the rest. So we're focused more on the Bitcoin and the blockchain side, basically.
I guess that leads me into the next question, which is, what does the average person on the street in Turkey know about crypto? Is it still kind of like a niche thing, or has it gone mainstream in Turkish society?
Well, everyone knows it. It's the biggest in Europe in volume, and third in the world right now. So there's more than 9 million, I think. I don't want to mistake here with the numbers, but individual users, and more than 20 million accounts in Turkey related to crypto, like in the exchanges. So the basic knowledge is there, and plus, because of the economical situation in Turkey, the inflation, the exchange rates, the lira against dollars, people are very into this stuff. Not only in crypto, but in many different, commodities and assets. So the knowledge of economy on the average person on the street in Turkey is quite high compared to like the rest of Europe. And so we try to gather what they know and turn it into something that they can take advantage of. So just knowing crypto is one thing, but knowing the purpose of like the utilities of it or the use cases of it is another thing. So the average person on the street is very knowledgeable. Yes.
And you keep mentioning the monetary crisis. For those that are outside of Turkey who may not be aware of what's going on, can you kind of describe what's happening with the Turkish lira and how that's impacted crypto adoption within Turkey?
Yeah, with there was a global crisis, the pandemic time, and we have a inflation rate of 76%. This was the last inflation rate.
That's astronomical.
Yeah. So the Turkish lira lost lots of value, obviously. I don't want to go into politics, but obviously there was like wrong decisions made on the interest rate side and everything. So people, when you lose trust, you try to find a way to actually keep the value of your assets. And in this case, Bitcoin is a very good store of value. And Tether also in Turkey. Tether, reaching and buying Tether is very easy. Keeping your savings as Tether is easy. Bitcoin also. Bitcoin, the only difference is Bitcoin, it increases in price as well. So it's actually an investment, not just keep. I know it's volatile. I know it goes down, up, whatever. But in the long run, people who invested in Bitcoin for the last 4 years are the happiest people in Turkey, I can say.
Okay, that's super important to note. You mentioned stablecoins.
Yeah.
How are stablecoins being used by Turkish citizens to kind of like hedge against inflation, would you say?
Well, it's a saving matter right now because of, the regulations is active right now. From 2nd of October, it's going to be, all official all around. But it's gone through the parliament. So now it's, everything is legal regarding crypto. You need licenses and everything. Tether is, because it's pegged to the US dollar and Turkish lira is losing a lot of value against Turkish dollar. That's why that's people's easiest way to, save their money and also to, don't lose against, the current inflation situation. But the thing is, the price gap between Turkish lira and dollars is buying and selling. There's a big gap, right? Split basically.
Mm-hmm.
But with Tether, it's the same price, buying and selling. So everyone prefers to get stablecoin like Tether as their dollars and keep it in their cold wallet or keep it in their exchange or in their MetaMask, whatever. So
why is that? Is there like
it's the
capital controls on accessing actual dollars versus stablecoins, which kind of just flow freely, or
stablecoin is a free. It's free basically to buy and sell. There's not a big commission, only the exchange commission basically. But for example, $1 is 33.5 lira.
Okay.
But if you want to buy it, it's 34.5. If you want to sell it, it's 32.5, for example. So again, the exchanges, the offices, the exchange offices, they make money. The banks make money out of you buying and selling dollars. But with Tether, it's not like that. It is what it is. The price is the same. Buying and selling, it's all the same. So there's lots of OTC going on in Turkey as well with stable coins, with Tether. Tether is the biggest, so I mean, in Turkey, it's the most used, like 95% uses Tether in Turkey. And so the OTC is a huge market also. We have the Grand Bazaar, so I don't know, it's something like $1 billion a day exchange in there because there's lots of other people coming from Europe or Middle East doing OTC in Turkey as well. But this is all going to be obviously legalized soon. So I don't think we'll have a problem in the future.
Do you guys have the phenomenon of like an official rate and then like a black market rate for currency exchange? Like here in Latin America, for instance, like if you're in Argentina, like there's the official rate, which is like half of the street rate that you can get from like anywhere else.
No, it's not that significant, Rick. I mean, it's not like we're not like that yet. I mean, I know the economy is from the outside. When you look at Turkish economy, it's bad. But when you come to Turkey, you don't feel it on the street, to be honest with you. Like the consumption is high. The all the restaurants, bars, holiday places are full. It doesn't affect us as much as it is reflected on media. But when you go to like smaller places in Turkey, that's where you actually see the crisis, or the suburbs outside of Istanbul or whatever. But the black market versus the government exchange rate is not a significant difference. It's not like that right now. I know what you mean when you say Argentina, but it's nowhere near that.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for that insight. I guess the second parallel I wanted to ask about with Latin America is here we see the phenomenon of people using stablecoins to like buy goods from outside, like to import like a storage container from China full of stuff. Yeah. It's easier for them to send Tether than it is to exchange from like Colombian pesos.
That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of crypto.
Yeah. Are you guys seeing that with like merchants within Turkey as well?
There is, but because you can't, because it's not legal, you can't invoice it, right? So when you can't invoice something, bringing it into Turkey without an invoice or selling it without an invoice is a problem. So it's not a huge market right now, but you can do it outside the box, if you know what I mean. You can order stuff, you can buy stuff. Obviously, there's different ways that you can show, like you can buy so many stuff and show a little amount on the invoice or whatever. But for tax reasons, right now, it's not a huge thing.
I guess the next question I have, I want to get into this phenomenon that you mentioned earlier of speculation and gambling in Turkey and the altcoin trade and the Turkish love for altcoin trading. Can you kind of explain why that is?
Well, I mean, I think as a nation, we're very passionate, right? We're Mediterranean, we have all the qualities of Europe and Middle East. So we're right in the middle of Europe and Asia. So we want to make quick money. We like risk taking. We have lots of passion. And without knowing, people invest a lot and do lots of, high volume margin on tradings, right? So this is actually one of the points we come across with our Steve group. This is what we're saying. We don't encourage this. You shouldn't do it. If you're going to invest in something, then you invest long term. But if you want to do scalp trading, obviously there's a huge, potential in the market for us as well, because people scalp trade, day trade. And we if you're doing this, at least know what you're doing, right? This is our attitude. At least know how to trade, or what to do, or where to put your stop loss, or try to read your graphics and see where you can buy, where, between the resistance point and the support points. We're trying to teach this to people without encouraging them to day trade or scalp. But they lose a lot of money, Rick. It's very heartbreaking, because they come into this crypto world thinking they're going to be millionaires. There's very bad examples, like, the shit coins, like there's, it does 100x, for example. So if I put $1,000 here, I'm going to get $100,000. And we try to explain that this is not the case. Loads of people make money out of you losing that money. And so don't go with the flow. Don't just following, the shill projects, which is shilled by 20 different KOLs at the same minute, and they're trying to pump the coin down. So we're trying to educate people on this side. But why are they like this? It's because of the economy, Rick, because they want a secure future. They want financial freedom, which is another thing, an argument. For me, financial freedom isn't being rich, if you know what I mean. Financial freedom is to be able to control your own money without any third party, without any government or, federals, controlling your money. So this was one of our points on the financial freedom tour, because when we ask people, we say, what is financial freedom? And they say, being rich, not going to work, buying whatever you want. I said, okay, so let's say you got $5 million. What if the bank says, I froze your account? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Is it your money? It is your money, but it's not yours anymore. So trying to explain people that financial freedom isn't just being rich. It is about being in control of your own money. It was a challenge, but we're doing well with it right now. People are getting more and more aware about it.
Okay. And I guess in that same vein, with the Turkish crypto community, is Bitcoin the most popular, or are they more focused on Ethereum and Solana because they're into all these altcoins and trying to make these gains?
Popularity, yes, Bitcoin. But trading amounts, I think the majority trades on altcoins. So if people want to invest, obviously they invest in Bitcoin long term, and this is a little percentage, which needs to increase, to be honest. But popularity, Bitcoin; volume, I'd say altcoins.
Okay.
And mainly there's every term there's a different hype. There was this metaverse where people are selling lands on metaverse, and people are buying it thinking it's an amazing investment, or the NFT hype, and the AI, and now the meme coins, everything's coming out, the Trump token, this, that, the other. So these are all short-term big money making for the people who created them, not for the people who's traded on them, right? So they're very popular, as you know. I don't know if it's the same in Latin America, right?
Yeah, it's very, very similar. That's kind of why I was asking questions about the parallels, because the markets are very, very similar. The economic situation in certain parts of Latin America is very, very similar as well.
I mean, I traveled all around. I was in Brazil a month ago, and I just came back from New York yesterday. We go to El Salvador, we go everywhere in Europe, Singapore, Malaysia. We go everywhere to these conferences and everything. I've been to the token 2049, in Dubai and Singapore. That's mainly altcoin. It's not Bitcoin. But I go to their conferences as well and meetups, because I want to know, I want to understand what it's all about, because I always go there like that with the Bitcoin. And I'm not a maxi. I'm telling you this. I'm not a maxi. I think there's lots of downfalls in being a maxi, because when you're trying to explain Bitcoin to someone as a maxi, that you actually draw them away. Sometimes you can get too toxic being a maxi about Bitcoin. I don't know. You probably met a lot of people as well. You have to keep it balanced. You have to be able to explain it without, making people being rude about your knowledge of Bitcoin. So the countries I went around, crypto is always looked at as a way out, of their day-to-day life, of their day-to-day, going to work 9 to 5, poverty and everything, which I think is the tricky part, because I don't think these coins are these tokens and coins are gonna last for a while, especially after the bull market. Most of them are going to go to zero. So it's very important that we educate people about this, because they're just their money's going into thin air, basically.
Yeah, I agree. And we've seen in past market cycles, this same thing play out over and over and over. So for the new people that are coming in, that see all this hype and think they're going to have a private jet in 3 months.
when Lambo, that's the thing. Yeah. But the cycle, at the end of the cycle, people who enters at the end of the cycle, they have to wait another 3 years. So next cycle, they will be making money, but there's going to be newcomers, right? So the old cycle guys, the OGs, they're making money right now, and they know where to enter, where to leave. And they're making the newcomers money. I mean, it's like with every market, isn't it? There's people who makes money, people who lose the money. That's how you actually balance it. So I'm trying to, for my country, I'm trying to say, okay, this is let's at least in Turkey, let's make profit overall in total as the Turkish nation. It's money, it comes and goes. But if you lose, people actually get loans to go into the crypto market, which is the worst thing you can do. They get, if you think about it, in Turkish lira with the inflation, if you get a loan and the dollar's going up against Turkish lira, and if you buy Bitcoin, it's a good idea, right? But that's not what they do. They get the loan and they do margin trading with it. So, and they lose that as well, then they're in debt. So it's a vicious circle, Rick.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I can't even imagine trying to take a loan on a currency that's inflating at 76%. That's incredible. So I guess to take it back to Turkey, you mentioned regulations are on the way. Is it currently unregulated, totally unregulated?
Not totally. Obviously, there's rules about it. You can't do any purchasing or buying and selling with crypto.
Okay. So there's no shops that you can go pay with Tether?
Well, there is individual shops where you can pay in Bitcoin, right? But it's not tracked. So now you can do that. But once the regulation comes, it's going to be all legalized anyway. And you're going to have a license to do this, because the government, this is how the governments work, better than me. I mean, they want to get their taxes, right? So wherever you buy, spend, whatever, they want their share, right? That's why they want to regulate this. So instead of getting no money out of it, they're trying to get as much as they can from these transactions, right? And obviously the VAT as well. So if you're doing a shopping, but the tourists, they can go to Grand Bazaar in Istanbul, which is the biggest gold market in Turkey, and they can buy with Bitcoin and Tether and that, because no one's going to track that, right? Well, the regulations are declared right now by the government, by the parliament, and it's ongoing at the moment. So from 2nd of October onwards, everything is going to be tracked, basically.
Since you guys are kind of on the border of Europe and the Middle East, are you guys modeling the regulations after MiCA, the European Union regulations?
I think it's all individual, isn't it? The country, it's country specific, really, because it goes along the way. Yes, we take that as the base, but in Turkey, they're trying to model it around our own financial systems. So some things can be possible in Europe with crypto, but maybe 80% of that is going to be possible in Turkey, but the 20% isn't, if you know what I mean. Okay. So they're trying to shape it around our economical model, basically.
And then you, as a member of the crypto community, does the greater crypto community in Turkey view these regulations as favorable, or do they view them as it's going to be too restrictive? Like, how does the community view this incoming regulation?
It's a bit, it's a bit split in half, to be honest. Like people like me, I want the regulations because it makes it legal. It actually legalizes crypto. It actually acknowledges crypto as an asset, right? So for me, people like me who's in this business, it's good for me because I'm doing something, which is regulated and, legal. So, but majority is like, so how are they going to track our income? For example, I'm trading. I made my $10,000, $50,000 today, but tomorrow I might lose it and it's 30,000. And imagine like 5 million people trading. How are they going to track this? That's the question mark. How are they going to tax us? And the way is like it's every exchange, foreign exchange, and the Turkish exchanges in Turkey, they have to have a license now. Normally you don't have a license. They didn't have a license. It was just a permit. So now that you're licensed, so any account, individual account, which with a KYC, obviously they're all KYC, and any income and outgoing throughout 3 month periods, like every quarter, is going to be tracked, and that's how they're going to tax them. That's what they're saying, but I still don't think it's possible. So they started from the exchanges and like the the foundations and that's how it started, the regulations. Then I think it will affect the end user in a way that the charges will be included in the trading process. So when you pay a trading fee, a commission,
you just have like another fee.
Yeah, they're going to add that into that fee, so you don't even know it's going out of your pocket or not. I think that's the most effective way to do this without any confusions. You deal with the exchanges and you put that cut or 1%, 2%, whatever the percentage is in there, and you get it straight away from the exchanges.
Okay. And then how soon are you guys expecting this regulation to be implemented? Like, is this like far out into the future, or are you guys expecting it within the next few months?
Yeah, 2nd of October.
Oh, October. Okay.
Yeah, 2nd of October, it will be like fully, in process.
Nice. So what changes will that create, I guess, in the Turkish crypto market?
The end user, like the last users, like people like trades every day, it wouldn't change anything. For agencies, for the exchanges and whatnot, it will just like create another extra expense basically on the ROIs.
Compliance burden.
Yeah.
Do you expect to see like more crypto services or like more businesses like implementing crypto for payments and stuff like that? You mentioned that it's not.
I bloody hope so. This is why we're in this industry. That's what we're doing. So we want to actually. We were like one of the first ones to say, as Steve Group, like this payment methods. When we went to Lugano and met, we did a documentary with Paolo Arduino, and when we were there, we went skiing. We hired the skis with Bitcoin. We went to have a coffee on the top of the mountain and we paid it with Bitcoin. Then we came down and we had like a nice dinner and we paid it with Bitcoin and Tether basically. I said like we have to do this in Istanbul. We have to do this in Turkey. So our suggestion was we do a pilot area where we can start this. I actually did this presentation to the government as well. So we made this model where we can do like a pilot area where people can buy and spend in crypto. In Lugano, there's the Luga coin as well. Like there's the municipality's coin where you can purchase that, which is beneficial for the municipality as well. So this is ongoing, but this is one of my biggest dreams, like to create a hub in Europe, like Istanbul, a crypto capital or something. It can be amazing. It's good for the economy. It's good for the tourism. It's good for people to know what crypto is all about. And in different areas you can use crypto and blockchain in so many different areas. It's not only just like buying and selling. You can use it in notarizing stuff. You can use it in buying and selling houses or whatever. It just cuts the middleman out of the way. Yeah. And
have you
Bitcoin mining? This is one of the things. Turkey's got amazing energy resources. Like we can use this to do mining. wind power. We've got thermic, centrals in all around Turkey, hydroelectric. We can use this with reusable energy. We can do, like El Salvador is doing. I've been trying to convince everyone to do this, but let's see, with those regulations, maybe they'll start mining as well.
Why do you think they have, like, I wasn't even aware about the mining in Turkey. I was going to ask you about circular economies if you visited any, but let's go down the mining path. Why do you think there hasn't been like a widespread mining industry in Turkey if it's such an energy rich place?
It's forbidden right now. You can't.
Oh, it's forbidden to mine?
Yeah, you can't. You can't bring the machines in. You can't mine Bitcoin right now because it's not regulated, right? So this was one of my things. Like we suggested the government does it. We do it as a country, like El Salvador does, like Bulgaria does, like Russia does, like Finland does, like Iceland does. We should do this as a nation. And we came up with the models as well, like where we can do it. There's lots of solar power in Turkey, especially in middle Turkey. We have massive solar power, plants, and it's something we can do. I think that they will look into it in the future. We just like need a visionary guy in the government to actually say, okay, this is, because I don't want to see one of the officials talking about Dogecoin. Do you know what I mean? Like it's heartbreaking to hear from an official saying, there's coins like Dogecoin. Like, what are you talking about? We're talking about, it's a whole different. So they have not much knowledge about this. So they called some KOLs to the parliament. We were invited as well to explain what it's all about and, the technical side of it, the opportunities and whatnot. But I realized that was just like an election campaign thing where, we're interested in crypto and there's so many crypto users in Turkey, so we might get their attention as well by doing, I don't know. South America and we are very similar in many different ways,
Yeah. But no, like right now, there's a similar thing going on in the US. Like all the presidents.
Oh yeah, Trump is doing the same. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all pandering to the crypto audience.
Yeah. And he said like there will be no CBDCs. We will encourage self-custody and blah blah blah. I think it's interesting. I mean, it's not like he wouldn't do it. He would, put his word into action. I think he would, because otherwise, people will wreck. And the Bitcoin, he's going to Nashville as well, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
I don't know how Mike is doing these like events, right? So Mike Germano from BTC Magazine. So I don't know how we convinced Trump to go there, or I don't know if Trump actually.
David Bailey, who's the CEO of Bitcoin Magazine, I don't know how, he's got connections or something with the Trump administration, and he like volunteered to advise the Trump campaign on crypto stuff. And they had like a meeting, and then Trump like went to some event and started talking about crypto and being pro crypto, which was like a 180-degree shift, because when he was president the first time, like he was pretty anti-crypto. So like they sat down with him, they explained things and orange pilled him somehow.
Cool. Well, he's orange as well. His vice president is very Bitcoin friendly as well. He's very pro Bitcoin.
Okay, no, I wasn't aware of that.
He just he just chose as vice president. He's under 40.
JD Vance, I think is.
Him. Yeah. JD Vance. Yeah, he's like a very Bitcoin as well. So I think if he wins in November with, after it's the end of summer, we'll be in a big bull market, I reckon. Very big bull market.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, something to look forward to.
Till May 2025, then who knows?
Yeah. Well, Danny, we're running out of time. Thank you for coming on the podcast and kind of giving us a rundown about the situation with crypto and Bitcoin adoption in Turkey. It was really exciting to hear about the Financial Freedom Tour and just kind of get an understanding of the lay of the land as far as crypto goes.
Thank you so much for your time as well. I had a great time. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to watching this and sharing it in Turkey. Let's see what people think. I might put some like Turkish subtitles on this because people might not understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
Fantastic. Thanks for your time, Rick. It was a good experience.
Before you head out, can you tell people like how they can follow the Steve group or SteveDaBitcoin?
Well, Steve the Bitcoin is the account with the blue tick, obviously on Twitter. It's got more than 500,000 followers, so it's very difficult to miss. There are loads of fake ones, and there's Steve TV official, again Steve the Bitcoin on YouTube, which has around 100,000 subscribers, so they will easily find that. But we've got very creative and fun content on there as well. So if they want to follow, they can follow.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks again. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Rick. Take care.